Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Kindergarten, What Families Should Know. Presenting with us today is Ms. Lisa Pilson and Ms. Denise Forrest. This webinar was created in partnership with Fairfax County Office for Children. I will let Ms. Pilson and Ms. Forrest take the floor.
Good morning and welcome everyone. My name is Lisa Pilson. I'm the Director of Early Childhood Curriculum and Grant Management for Fairfax County Public Schools.
Good morning, families. My name is Denise Forrest, and I'm the Coordinator for Early Childhood Special Education in Fairfax County Public Schools. We are joined by our partners from the Office for Children, Holly Blum, who is a Neighborhood School Readiness Facilitator, and Kimberly Reinhardt, who works in the same office.
Hi. So during our time together today, we will demystify what it means to be ready for kindergarten by debunking myths about kindergarten and school readiness and discussing ways families may prepare for kindergarten. Yes, school is an essential part of a child's life, and families are a child's first and most important teacher. I think I'm too far. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. We had a snafu. This is live, and I'm going to just back up a little bit. So one of the things that families sending their first child to school often have many questions about, what do I need to do to make sure my child is ready? And being ready for kindergarten, what do they need to know? All those different feelings that families may be feeling. So keep in mind that students do not have to be ready for kindergarten, because kindergarten is going to be ready for students. The only requirement for a child, for a student coming to kindergarten in Fairfax County Public Schools, is for them to be age 5 by September 30th of the school year. So let's talk a little bit about learning to learn behaviors. Families frequently ask what they can work on with their child before their child enters kindergarten in the fall. Engaging your child in learning to learn activities such as following directions, having them do things such as after dinner, push in your chair, put your dishes into the sink, scrape your plate, things of that nature. Helping with chores such as picking up their toys, putting their toys away whenever requested by a parent or caregiver. Expressing their needs and wants. And this is really important. As parents, we oftentimes are in family members and caregivers when we know a child very well. We're able to anticipate the needs and wants of our children without our child or that child that we're giving care to telling us what their need or their want is. However, whenever your child gets to school, the teachers and the professionals in the school building don't yet know your child. So it's really helpful to support your child as you're working with them in the summer to express their needs and wants, letting you know things like, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I need to use the bathroom, I want to engage in a particular activity like coloring or watching TV or go for a walk, whatever those things may be. Following a routine is very important as well. Simple routines like in the morning, getting up, brush your teeth, get dressed, things of that nature. Sharing, which we know is a big deal with our children that are 4 and 5 years old, and taking turns, always wanting to be first. And oftentimes as families and caregivers, we allow our youngest children in our home to be first to do things and things of that nature. They'll be in school with other children. So taking turns and sharing space and sharing things, that's a critical skill to learn. And building independent skills, such as dressing themselves, learning to tie their shoes. No, those are not prerequisite skills for going to kindergarten. However, those are very helpful skills that they may be learning to do, and they will continue to learn to do those things until they're fully independent throughout the school year as they're working on those skills, both at school and at home with their families. These are just some skills to work on with your child as you begin to prepare them for school and beyond. Here's a short video of a parent sharing about their kindergarten experience.
Mi nombre es Aida Romero, soy mamá de Alexa Cortés de kindergarten. Lo que me sorprendió en este año de kindergarten es de que yo como mamá es primera vez que ella viene aquí a kinder. Mi preocupación como mamá era los alimentos, cómo ella se iba a bajar del autobús, quién me la iba a subir, quién me la iba a bajar, quién me la iba a llevar a comer, quién le iba a ayudar a ella a poner el pin de la comida. Todo eso yo sentía un temor, pero aquí aprendí de que vine como mamá, vine yo un día.
I'll now turn the presentation over to Denise Forrest, who will share some sections through this presentation.
So I'm going to start by being a myth buster, and I want to debunk some myths that are that you may have heard to help support you feeling comfortable with your child going to kindergarten. And the first and the probably most important one is that there are no specific skills that students have to have in order to enter kindergarten. So we want to work with your child and with you, and helping you to understand that kindergarten will be ready for your child. Your child does not have to be ready for kindergarten. And so there are no academic skills that are required prior to kindergarten. And that sort of helps, is helped by the last bullet on this, which is that there is no entrance exam. So there's nothing that we do to measure to see whether or not your child is ready. Children do not have to be toilet trained. We can work with families on a toilet training plan if a child is not toilet trained. They don't have to have things like English proficiency. They don't have to be able to write their name. They probably should know or respond to their name. That would be helpful. So if they're not familiar with their name, then please make sure that you work on that this summer. And one myth that we want to debunk is that there are naps in kindergarten. There are no naps in kindergarten. So that might be something that you want to plan for this summer. If your child is still requiring a nap, you might want to start to wean him or her away from that nap. So each child in kindergarten is unique. Actually, every child is unique. And we want to make sure that you understand that we know that your child will be coming with their unique needs and that their individual needs will be supported. We do what we call differentiated instruction, which is that we will provide instruction in a variety of different ways to support your child being able to access their learning. And we do that by giving multiple commands, being able to provide instructions in different ways. We might show pictures of the instructions or the routine that the child needs to follow. And we also might have it written out. So we do differentiate our instruction. We provide a positive approach to social and emotional development. So we will be working with your children to help to identify their feelings and to be able to share what their feelings are and how to manage their feelings in a positive way. And we also provide kindergarten age services to children who may have special education needs and the need for related services like physical or occupational therapy or speech and language therapy. So we can absolutely meet every single child's needs in kindergarten. And you don't need to stress this summer about your child being unique in any way. We're now going to listen to a teacher talk about her kindergarten experiences.
So the first few weeks of school, we really are working to build that classroom community. And the way that we do that is really right as they walk in the door. It's about welcoming them at the door, greeting them by name. they have a few minutes at the beginning of the day to kind of relax, ease in, get to know each other, mingle, talk a little bit, and then we begin with our morning meeting, which the cornerstone of that is really the greeting. And so we begin the year with greetings that they all can participate in. So those students who are not as comfortable saying their name in front of a large group of people, we can work with them to all say the name together. And by, week 3, everybody knows everybody's name. And that's a really exciting moment when they really feel like a bonded community.
So how can you prepare your child for kindergarten? Well, we put together a few ideas, but the first thing that we want you to understand is that it is our desire to partner with you, and the best partnership is between the home and the school. So we want to work together with you to support the children coming into the kindergarten programming. Kindergarten orientations more than likely have already occurred this past spring. If you did not get a chance to attend, do not worry. If you did get a chance to attend, we hope that you found it to be very informative. If you are unsure as to whether or not your school has had a kindergarten orientation, you can go to your base school's website and find out. We also want you to know that during this summer, you are going to need to complete your registration and enrollment for your child for kindergarten. And you can do that by contacting your school. You start with your neighborhood school and you will say, I need to enroll my student for kindergarten, and they will tell you all of the necessary paperwork that you will need. Each school has a family liaison, and we encourage you to ask to meet the family liaison. That way you'll have a contact for somebody that you can connect with at the school should you have any concerns. Each school does require, each child is required to have a medical physical exam before school starts. So we encourage you to reach out to your pediatrician and make an appointment for that physical exam. There will be an open house before the first day of school, and we encourage you to attend that open house with your child. The child will get to know the other kids in the classroom, get to meet their teacher, and actually see what their classroom looks like before the first day. Each school has an email notification system called News You Choose. We encourage you to go onto fcps.edu, type in the search News You Choose, and there will be a variety of different email notifications that you can sign up for, including one that comes directly from your school administrators. And then finally, in August, there will be a listing of school supplies that you will need to purchase. If resources are needed for you to purchase those school supplies, please connect with your school office and they will help you to provide resources to you in order to get the school supplies. But please purchase your school supplies before the school year starts. So what can you do specifically at home with your child? So to prepare your child for kindergarten, we encourage you to talk and read with your child. There are fantastic books about starting school that you can find at bookstores and at the library. So we do encourage you to visit that local library to find new books to read to your children. This will be a great way for you to talk through their feelings about going to school and help to assure them and reassure them that kindergarten is going to be a fun learning experience. Try to create some consistent nighttime routines for your child. If you start during the summer and creating those consistent nighttime routines, it's going to make your child, who is going to be tired after the first couple of days of school, much more prepared to be able to go to sleep and then be able to get up in the morning and have a nice, well-rested day in order to get ready for the school day. We also want you to start to think about creating a fun but a calm morning routine so that your child has a good start to each and every school day. There's going to be lots of opportunities for your child to play in kindergarten with peers. So you can continue to work on that with setting up some play opportunities with peers that are in your neighborhood or maybe cousins, So any type of play activities where your child is going to have the opportunity to communicate and to negotiate sharing and play skills would be very important this summer to work on. Start naming places, objects, numbers in your environment, doing a lot of that self-talk where you're talking about what you're doing while you're doing it, or reporting on what the child is doing while your child is doing it. We call that broadcasting, so that you're broadcasting what the children is doing, and so that he and she hears a lot of language this summer. Those are going to be important skills for you to share. Each school has a playground, and the playgrounds are open this summer for you to go and visit. So that might be a nice way for you to be able to share the school experience with your child prior to the school year starting. And last, and probably most important on this list, teach your child their birth name. If you have a nickname for your child, like Pumpkin or Little One, mine was Lump, believe it or not. I don't understand why I got that nickname, but I had that nickname nonetheless. I needed to know that my name was Denise because my kindergarten teacher was not going to call me Lump. She was going to call me Denise, and I need to know to respond to that. So teach your child their birth name if you have not already done so. Now we're going to watch a video with some school administrators talking about their experiences of coming to kindergarten.
We know that you're anxious to have your students start kindergarten, and you might be a little bit nervous, and we just want you to know they're going to be in great hands, as Mr. Rennick said, and some great ideas to get them ready are to get them started on a routine. So have them wake up at the same time every day, have them get ready, brush their teeth, wash their face, get dressed, and have breakfast. Some of the things that they'll be doing when they start kindergarten. And it's also just as important to have a nighttime routine. And one of the things that would be great to do at nighttime would be read to your students, because that really helps to lay the foundation for kindergarten as well. And
All right, so here are some important tips and a little bit of important information for families to know as they're preparing for their child to begin kindergarten this upcoming August. So first things first, students must be 5 years old by September 30th. Know your school boundaries. The boundaries that are the school that's within the boundaries based on your zip code can be found on the FCPS website. And if you go into the search bar, you can type in FCPS boundary locator to make sure that you are registering for the school that is assigned based on where you live. Have a plan for transportation to and from school. Be sure to schedule the physical examination and make sure that your child has their updated immunizations, things of that nature that are required for school. If there are religious or medical exemptions, there are ways to navigate that through the school system, and the school registrar will help you with that whenever you are turning in your registration packet. In terms of transportation, be mindful if your child is assigned a school bus, where your school bus stop may be, that information will be mailed to you. Or if you're a walker, what is the path that you're going to take whenever you walk your child to school and pick them up from school? And also, what are you going to do on rainy days if you're a walker? Are you going to drive to school? What is that route going to look like whenever transporting to and from school? Some other important things to have a plan for is if your child gets sick during the school day, who is able to come and pick up your child if you're at work and your job is far away from school? What's your plan for an early release day? Fairfax County Public Schools do have days where students are dismissed 2 hours early due to parent conferences or end of quarter, things of that nature. Also, what is your plan for before and after care if you are a working parent who needs to leave for work before your child goes to school and is not home from work until after your child is dismissed from school? Having a plan for those things are important, and now's the time to figure that out. Also, inclement weather. We know in Virginia, some years we are graced with an abundance of snow. Other years we're graced with an abundance of very mild winter weather. We have to be prepared either way. Having a plan for inclement weather, might it be your child is going to school later than usual because of a delay due to weather, or if your child is being dismissed from school early due to inclement weather, or if school is canceled due to inclement weather. Having a plan for those things as well. And also school holidays, teacher work days, federal holidays that were off from work, winter break, spring break, things of that nature. A really important piece of information is if your child has any medical needs, please meet with the school nurse before the start of school to make sure that there's a plan in place to ensure that your child is safe and healthy from the first day of school moving forward, so there's no interruptions or risks that could possibly take place that could compromise the health and safety of your child. So here we are to my most important video. Here are our some information from our students. You've had an opportunity to hear from the professionals, but what we really want to know is, what do the kids think about being in kindergarten? So I'm going to start this video all over again.
I like my teachers. They're the best. I like doing my short. In the class, go to reason. I like my teachers. I like recess. Teachers. I like to watch it. Play. Team awesome. We get to do new stuff every day, and I love my teachers.
Well, we know they love their teachers, and that's important because you want your child to love their teacher and all the other wonderful things that they get to do at school. So here we have a wealth of information in Fairfax County. We have tons of resources that are accessible to our families, and information resources are available at various websites. Here are some, but this may not capture all the digital resources that are available for our families. So we have our Family Resource Center website that has a plethora of information for families to access. fcps.edu, that's our Fairfax County Public School website, and there's a lot of information on that website as well. Our Office for Children, there is a wide range and wealth of information for not just kindergarten and school, but things that are beyond school and beyond the school day that families may require some information for. And there's always the public library that has a plethora of information, in addition to being able to access books online that you can enjoy with your children. So as a former kindergarten teacher, Robert Fulgham's quote sums it all up. All I really need to know, I learned in kindergarten. Your children will learn foundational skills in kindergarten that will be built upon through their entire educational journey and career. And these skills, both academic, social, and emotional, will not only last in kindergarten, but will last a lifetime.
Thank you so much, Lisa and Denise. We're gonna do a little Q&A now. So one of the first questions we have was, what are the best ways for new families to engage with the school before and during the school year?
So I can gladly take that one. What are the best ways that a family can engage with with a school before and during the school year? Well, before school starts, connecting with the registrar whenever the registration packet information is submitted, connecting with the parent liaison. They are a wealth of information for family members. And also, once your child is assigned a teacher, reaching out to the teacher, and that is a very important relationship once school starts and throughout the school year. Connecting with the school counselor, that's another support. All schools have a social worker. Some schools, social worker may be full-time, others may be part-time, meaning that they're at that school a few days a week, but having those people resources to communicate with and establish those relationships. And as always, your school administrators will undoubtedly guide you in the right direction if you have questions or needs and you're not exactly sure which direction you can go.
Can I also add, Lisa, that I think it's really important that this is going to be your child's school for the next 7 years, kindergarten through 6th grade. And so we highly encourage you to get active and involved. Join the Parent-Teacher Association, attend the community events and the evening activities that each school organizes during the school year. So we want you to become a family member of this school as well.
Thank you both. I love how you put that, a family member of the school, right? Because it's all a team. It's not just home and school. They all, blend together. So I love that idea. So I know you all covered that children don't have to be English native speakers to join kindergarten, but a family is concerned about how do they support their child with that transition if a different language is spoken at home and now they're entering kindergarten where English will be spoken.
Yes. So first and foremost, do not underestimate how resilient your child is. They are so resilient. Our schools have English speakers of other language professionals in the building. And many of our schools, we have a linguistically rich community. Many of our schools do have staff members that may speak the language of your child or other classmates. The teachers and school professionals will work with your child to support them as they are learning English and support them through that transition. And it can oftentimes be hard. A child is immersed in a language that is very different than what they hear at home. And not only is it difficult, it's exhausting. And they learn really, really quickly. A little story, whenever I became a teacher, I was a first-year teacher from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we spoke Pittsburgh. I don't even know if it was English, but we spoke Pittsburgh. I had moved to Virginia, was a teacher here, and of all of my students in my kindergarten classroom, I had 3 students that spoke English. The rest of my students, their first language was Spanish. And I believe I had a couple of students that their first language was Vietnamese. By the end of the kindergarten school year, all of the children began 1st grade, ready for 1st grade and speaking English. And some of our students, as we sometimes receive new students during the school year, their English became very strong and they were able to translate. So just know that your child will learn and they may come home and teach you things as well. And the professionals in the building will definitely, it's a language rich environment. There's visual supports that will help your child gain the language that they need, the English language skills that they need in order to continue to build upon and communicate and learn.
Great, thank you so much. Another question is, what should we do if our school still hasn't scheduled a kindergarten orientation and they're canceling the meet and greets? How can we communicate with them?
I would reach out, go onto the school's website, reach out directly to the school's principal or administrator on the team, or call the main office and ask to speak with someone and get some information on their next steps and what may be happening moving forward for that school's community. There may not be something scheduled before the end of the school year for what I don't know what the circumstances are at that school. They may have decided to plan events for late summer or at the beginning of the school year in order to accommodate families. But I would reach out to the school and get some information.
Okay, thank you. Another question, can you please discuss what the transition from the preschool autism classroom program to kindergarten can look like?
Sure, I can take that one. So children that are currently receiving preschool special education services also will have a transition to kindergarten. The great news is that they have probably learned some of those learning to learn behaviors because we've been teaching them that. So they may be at an advantage to children who have not had a pre-K experience. The transition is going to be individualized. I will share that as children enter kindergarten age and also have special education needs, depending on the required needs of the child, a child might spend some of their day in general education kindergarten and some of their day in special education. The child might spend all of their day in special education, or alternately, the child might spend all of their day in the general education kindergarten and receive their special education supports in that kindergarten classroom. It is going to depend on each individual child's needs. So I encourage you to reach out to your school teacher, your current preschool school teacher, and talk to that person about what that transition is going to look like. We do a lot of preparation and planning between the sending preschool teachers and the receiving kindergarten teachers. So all of that work has been being done during the spring, and you should have a good plan in place if you don't already.
Great. Thank you so much, Denise. And just wanted to say, I only have 2 questions left. So if you have any other questions, please put them in the chat and we'll get to you. So another question we had was, since kindergarten is not mandatory, what are some of the benefits of holding them back from kindergarten?
Oh, I can take that one. I've done a lot of extensive research on this. So one of the things that we know about holding a child back from kindergarten is that there is an immediate benefit, right? Some children will gain better social skills. Some children will gain maybe better communication skills, but that benefit is very short-lived. The research shows that it is approximately 6 to 8 months of a benefit. After that, the research shows that holding a student back from kindergarten is actually a detriment. By the time children reach 3rd grade, children who have been held back from kindergarten score lower on standardized testing than children who were not held back. So that's the research. That does not include emotions. And so what I want to make sure that you hear clearly is that it is your decision. Kindergarten is not mandatory. 1st grade is. So you do have a choice right now as to whether or not you would like to hold your child back and in preparation for an additional year of experiences before they enter into kindergarten. Emotionally, I can understand as a family, as a parent, where that might feel scary to send a child who may not be 100% socially prepared for kindergarten. I will share the opposite opinion, which is that we have children that come into kindergarten all the time who may not be emotionally prepared to support or to be 100% successful in kindergarten. And we work to help to ensure that they are successful. So please know that it is your family decision to withhold your child from kindergarten entry this upcoming school year. We will be here for you whenever you are ready to enter into Fairfax County Public Schools. However, please know that we will support your child next year in kindergarten, no matter what skills your child is bringing, if they're not emotionally as successful as other children, if they're not academically as successful as other children, we will make sure that they have success. That's our job and our role. We take it we take that responsibility very importantly.
Can I ask you a question, Janice? If they choose not to send their child to kindergarten, do they inform the school that they are not? Am I correct in the fact that they still need to inform the school that their child kind of exists, but they've made this choice?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We did get a question in Spanish, but we just need some clarification. So if you ask that question, please resend that to us. Thank you. So another question we have is around what time will they assign teachers?
So typically, I know in my previous life, I was a principal as well. We would send out the class assignments. So usually that first, the week before students return to school, usually that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday before students start school on that upcoming Monday, there is an open house. So in my experiences, the teacher assignment was shared with families before open house. So anticipate having your teacher assigned to your child prior to open house. That is a common approach that I have used. Some schools do it earlier, but given that children are in kindergarten, not all families have that opportunity to enroll right away. There are some things and shifts that need to take place in order to build the classes. They getting that information before open house is not usually likely.
Okay, thank you. So a parent needs like a little bit of advice. How do we keep the home language? If my child is bilingual, should I step back and just allow them to gain more English skills and let that take priority, or should I continue with my home language?
The stronger a child is in their home language will create an even stronger foundation as they're acquiring English. So do not abandon the home language. That home language is critical and it's important. That's a part of who they are. And there's nothing better than to be bilingual or trilingual in this day and age. That's setting your child up for an advantage. They will learn the English and they will also have whatever their home language is as well. That only makes them stronger. So please do not abandon that. It is equally, if not more important.
I can also share that one of the things that the research shows around children acquiring a second language is that they may go through what's called a quiet period, where one of their languages goes a little bit more quiet than the other as they're learning that second language. Don't worry about that. That quiet period lasts a very short period of time, and then the child will become unquiet in both languages.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So helpful. Another question about timing. So what time does school start? What homework can we expect? And how does mealtime look in kindergarten?
So bell schedules are based on the school. So check your school's website. Homework is also a school-based school by school. Typically, the biggest homework piece for kindergartners is to practice reading and counting and talking with their families at home, but that is determined by the teacher. And as related to mealtime, all children in kindergarten, they go to lunch in the cafeteria during their designated time. Typically, the instructional assistant, either the instructional assistant or the teacher, will support the children through their lunch time. And then either prior to lunch or following lunch, children have recess. So they will go to the cafeteria. They can either purchase their lunch at school, or families can pack a lunch. And based on the teacher, this is also teacher specific as well. There may also be a snack time during the school day where families can send a snack for the child to have at some time during the day. That's typically based on what time of the day their lunchtime is scheduled.
And you will be given instructions as you're registering on how to load up a financial account for the school lunches, should you prefer to have your child buy their lunch and purchase their lunch at school. In addition, Fairfax County does offer free and reduced price meals. And so if you would qualify for a free and reduced price meal, then you will get that paperwork to fill out during your registration.
Okay, thank you. And is there anything that families need to do to let our school know that our child will be utilizing the bus? Or will they send that information automatically with the bus route information?
So typically when a family submits their registration information and the registrar enters that information into the system, you can ask whenever you turn your paperwork in, will my child be assigned a school bus? And your registrar can tell you yes or no that where in terms of your location. The transportation department will send communication to families who are assigned a bus, and that information will include their bus number and their bus stop location for their bus number for the pickup time and bus location for transportation to school, as well as the same information for transportation from school. And a very important piece of information is there needs to be an adult if your child is riding the bus, there needs to be an adult at the bus stop to meet your child whenever they're getting off of the school bus. Any child that is not met by an adult at the school bus will be returned back to the school. Kindergartners are not released off of the school bus to go walk home unaccompanied by an adult.
Okay, we just have a few more questions left. Thank you so much. So if my child already knows some basic skills like reading, math, will there be additional activities so they won't be bored in class?
Yes, and the perfect person to have that conversation with is the teacher in terms of what skills your child is coming to school with and those opportunities for them to continue to build upon the skills that they have and deepen the skills that they currently have.
So when I was presenting, one of the myths was around differentiated instruction.
Mhm.
And that's a perfect question to sort of explain a little bit better what I mean. We will have children who come in who will be at their age level for their skills. And that's a very easy way to teach, is at that, what is a typical 5 going on 6-year-old supposed to know? But we will have children who will come in with skills that are greater than that, and children who will come in with skills that are not as great as that. And we will be able to provide activities, and maybe even the same activity, but with different expectations for any one of those children. The children who is below their age level expectation, children who are at age level expectation, and children who are above age level expectation. That is called differentiated instruction. And we would absolutely want to know where you think your child is performing, and so that we can make sure that we are tailoring our instruction to best meet your child's needs.
Okay, great. So what if my child needs help with their lunch, like opening a container? Will there be someone there to help them? Those ketchup packets are so hard.
Yes, they're the instructional assistant or teacher, and oftentimes schools have a cafeteria hostess who rotates around the cafeteria to help children with those with the milk carton or their ketchup packet or whatever the case may be. And sometimes it's their friend that's sitting next to them that may help as well. But anytime a child needs help at school, they will definitely receive it.
Okay, great. Someone asked, our son was accepted into the Spanish language immersion program. We're a non-Spanish speaking family. As non-Spanish speaking parents, what or how do you recommend to strengthen and make that experience successful for our child?
Yes. So it's an incredible experience. Typically, and this is based on my experiences, for the immersion program, children are receiving their math and their science content they're fully immersed in Spanish, and they will receive that support at home. That support at school and things of that nature as they're learning. And the teacher typically, if it's an immersion class, if they're speaking Spanish, they are speaking Spanish to the children through that entire content. And then their literacy and their social studies is instructed in English. How do you help at home? There are websites that you can access to be able to support your child as they're gaining, and keeping in mind, just like it's that transition, and Denise mentioned that quiet period, and there's frustrations that come along with that because there's a lot of unknown. Give it the time that it needs. Your child is working through the frustrations. Assist. The expectation isn't for your child to become 100% fully fluent in a second language by the end of kindergarten or by the end of the first month. Typically, it takes anywhere from 5 to 7 years for any individual to fully learn and be fluent in a second language. So give your child that time. They'll receive the supports, and ask your teacher questions and see what resources that they may have to ease that transition in the event that there are some frustrations. So they'll be fine. And the teacher in the classroom is skilled, a very skilled and knowledgeable professional, and the support in terms of how to practice at home will be shared with families by the school.
And I can share that I was an immersed kindergarten student. I lived in Quebec and spoke French in the morning in my preschool and kindergarten school year, and spoke and heard English in the afternoon. I can tell you that by the time I made it to high school, because I only had the 2 years, I did not pass French 1 very easily, so it didn't stick with me. So I didn't become a fluent speaker, but I was a speaker nonetheless. And it was an excellent experience for me.
Okay, and last question. What if my child just refuses to go into the building? Then what?
That happens. Go ahead, Denise, and then
I can take that one.
Yes.
So while you are kissing your little one goodbye, we will be helping your little one to get into the classroom and into the school building. And for the first couple of days, it may feel like your teacher is pushing you away, but we do believe that a clean break from your child, even if your child is crying and refusing to go into the building, you need to put your trust in us that we will help them. I can remember a time where I had a father who dropped off his daughter for the first time. She was 2 years old in my preschool special education classroom. And the little girl was crying. And I said to him, "Dad, she's going to be okay. Trust me, I'm gonna take really good care of her." And he left. He did trust me. And within 5 minutes, this little girl was playing and was doing just fine. What I didn't know was that the father then spent the next 3 hours and 15 minutes in his car in the parking lot, worried that she was crying. So I made it a point from that day after, that if a child and a parent had a bad separation because the child was crying or the parent was crying, that I would then call the parent within 10 minutes to let them know how their little one was doing. So you can feel free to ask whoever is supporting your child while they are kindly pushing you away from them so that we can take over and help your child to get into the classroom, you can ask for a phone call, and I'm sure that they would be more than happy to let you know how your little one is doing as their day progresses.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. I just want to put in a plug for the Family Resource Center. We have some back to school packs that are ready for you. They're resource packs. So our kindergarten one looks like a lot of books that help with the transition from home to school and what kindergarten can look like. And, it's a lot of great strategies on how to make friends and what to do when you miss your parents. So there's a lot of transitional tools and books that we have here. So please reach out to us. We will put our email in the chat. You can contact us at frc@fcps.edu. So I just wanted to again thank Lisa, Denise, Holly, and Kimberly. This was a group effort. So I'm so thankful that we were able to do this for you all today, and good luck with everything. And please reach out to us if you have any questions. Thank you all so much for joining.
We look forward to seeing you in kindergarten.
We absolutely do. Have a wonderful summer and reach out to your schools, as well as you can reach out to us if you have any questions. Your precious child will be fine. And thank you in advance for trusting us with your greatest gift. Have a wonderful summer.
Thank you.